welcome back, everybody, to another fabulous episode of the Rocking Midlife Podcast. And I'm particularly excited today, and I know I say that every week, but I genuinely am really excited about the wonderful guests that we get on here. And we're bringing back an amazing lady, Dr. Isabel Hunsinger, who spoke a while ago about menopause and health-related things. But I grabbed her and her husband today because I noticed during the week it was their 42nd anniversary. And apart from that being an amazing thing to celebrate, I thought, wow, we've talked about online dating, we've talked about divorce at midlife. How cool would it be to get a couple like these two who have really been invested in their marriage to come on and give us all some tips? So I'm really thrilled to introduce Michael and Isabel. Hi, guys.
Hi, Kat.
Hey, Kat. How you doing? Thanks for having us.
Oh, look, this is going to be fun. You guys are amazing. So what I'm going to do, and
how are you?
I'm going to, well, I don't have your longevity. I counted down before. We're coming up to 34 years at the end of the year for us.
That's pretty good.
You guys are the leaders at the moment. So anyway, I'm going to read a quick bio for these wonderful people so everybody out there listening or watching knows who they are. And then we're just going to dive on in and just have a really fun conversation all about marriage. So Dr. Isabel Hunsinger, MD, is Cuban-American born. She was born in Washington, D.C., and she's been a medical doctor since 1991. Now, you would have noticed already they have accents for all of us Kiwis and Australians. These lovely people are from America, but they do live in New Zealand now. And the only reason she went into the medical field was because she wanted to help people. And she wanted to get to the root of the disease, not just throwing a covering on it. Now, that in itself is amazing. And what Dr. Isabel noticed was that her patients weren't getting any better. They were just existing. So she has a goal to really help people get to the root of the problem and get healed. Now, Dr. Isabel actually works alongside her husband, Michael, who is a certified culinary nutrition expert, Chef Michael, and they've created together a brand called Doctor on a Mission, and they work especially to prevent and reverse disease and give hope. And some of their specialty areas are, and I'm just putting a disclaimer in here that we will get them on to talk about these too, because these are fantastic: Alzheimer's, dementia, cognitive decline, anxiety, and depression. And they've been doing telemedicine as a way of reaching people and helping them with these chronic issues for a number of years now. So amazing, bright, gifted, hardworking, just beautiful people. But they've managed to do all of that while keeping an amazing foundation in their lives there of their marriage. So welcome, guys. How about you tell us a little bit about your story? And you're going to have to sort of nudge each other who goes first. But how did you guys meet? How did you two get together? And did you think you were going to be together this long?
Yes,
She chased me.
I knew. I immediately, when I saw Michael in Boulder, Colorado in 1980, he was a dishwasher. He had a beard down to here. He had a bandana. He had hair down to here, curly like mine. And I saw him and I just said, I'm going to be with you for the rest of your life. I didn't say that to him. I said it to myself. And I've always said, we're going to be together forever, forever, forever. And, a guy that young,
wait.
Forever, that's a long time.
Forever. Okay. How about the first date? Can we just go out and have some fun first?
When did you tell Michael this? You didn't tell him this on the first date, did you?
Probably.
Yeah. The forever came up very quickly.
I know. It's just the kind of person I am. I'm very, hey, this is the way it's going to be.
Isabel was like, yeah, we're going to be together forever. I was okay.
And you better like it, buddy.
I'm getting roughed up already.
Oh my goodness. That's incredible. And you didn't run, Michael. You actually went out on a date.
No, well, I don't know. I guess this is G-rated. So the reason why I didn't run, this Cuban hottie, I was like, hey, okay, you can say what you want, but I'm not running. I'm with you.
Gosh. Wow, that's incredible. So you met and you dated. How many years kind of between meeting and talking marriage and getting married?
I come from a very broken family. So I've always been a divorce and alcoholism and stuff. So I always, in my mind, I was never going to get married. Like that was not, but I was going to be with somebody forever without the piece of paper.
Yeah.
And so we officially had our first like together date, July 3rd, 1980.
Yeah. Yeah. Like in the US, the July 4th Independence Day, big holiday. It was a outdoor barbecue was our first date.
Yeah. And so that's our anniversary date. And then we started.
Basically at that date, we kind of, that was when, kind of got the forever word. And then I was like, yeah, okay. But really.
Nothing better on for the next few decades. Yeah, sure. I'm free.
Yeah. Okay. But we've been inseparable since then. I mean, obviously sometimes with work and different things going on, you're apart, but pretty much from that day, we were just together every day, all the time. And even now, sometimes we've been together all day long and we're like, that was a fantastic, amazing day. And wow, yeah, together again all day. Let's do it again tomorrow. It's still fun and exciting, which is, pretty cool.
That's pretty huge to hear from someone who's been married that long. So you're not bored with each other. You're still finding things to be fun. Is that a mindset that you guys adopted early in the game, or?
Oh, no, we've learned a lot along the way. We lived together for 13 years.
Wow.
And my mom was always like, when are you guys going to get married? And I was like, Mom, never, I just don't believe in marriage. And then we decided to have our first baby. I was 34 and I was like, we got to have a baby now because we're going to be together forever. And so I got pregnant and Mommy was like, okay, now you have to get married. Now you have to sign that piece of paper. And I just totally surrendered because I had been with Michael for 13 years and we were like, okay, let's do this. So officially, paper-wise, it's been 27 years, but in our hearts, we've been united for the 42 years. We haven't been with anybody else. We're just
been committed. Yeah.
And even in that time, we consider ourselves married. Just because there wasn't any like, well, since there's no ring or since there's no paper, we'll just go ahead and kind of do whatever we want. And so for us, that anniversary date, it was
the beginning of our forever.
Really from there, the commitment started. It started on that day and always stayed there.
We always celebrate that day as our anniversary.
Yeah, love it.
Beginning.
Well, which it is.
So many people are married, but it doesn't mean anything. To us, it was like, no, we're like hooked.
Yeah. And sometimes you'll, like before the actual marriage date, it's still a little bit of open play and open games, until that. And it's like, no, that wasn't the story. Once we were together, that was, the commitment. And
that was the line in the sand drawn that day.
Yeah,
that was it.
Yeah.
Tell us, obviously, those of us who are in any type of relationship, it's never always hunky-dory. How have you guys gotten through tension, or have you had differences of opinion that have affected your relationship? How did you deal with things? How are you still together, basically?
Yeah, well, I do have to say, so we are talking about two totally different personalities here.
Really?
Because my background is more German Dutch. And if you know that kind of personality, it's more stoic and less emotional, shall I say. And the Isabel, being 100% Cuban, is, if you know that type of Latin style, Italian, that's very out there, very boisterous.
Yeah.
So we had two conflicting styles there, and really that first part of the relationship was where we needed to somehow come together, because it did, after about 5 years or so, did get to be a major conflict, because the way I dealt with things and discussions, problems, whatever you want to call it, was different from the way Isabel dealt with it, and from her background and where she came from. Who she comes from, a family with a father who was very verbally abusive and those types of things. So,
and loud. The loud, the better.
Yeah. So we had the loud one and the quiet one.
Yeah.
And neither one were working very well.
Wow.
And so, we had to come together on that. So that was the first really rocky point, because now you've been together for a while. You've had that kind of early, more lustful time, shall I say. And
Yeah,
you're
the hormones
moving
kind of
in.
settle, don't they, after a season?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's getting married is easy. Making a decision that we're going to be together is easy, but learning to live together,
Yeah.
because nobody's 100% compatible.
Oh, absolutely. I
us.
mean, I'm in a similar situation to you guys. My background is sixth generation Australia from Irish and English people. So, and a very introverted family. This is something I only discovered in the last few years when I understood more about, the effect of personality as well. My husband, born and raised traditionally Italian, like southern Italy of the 50s, that's how he was raised. And his family yelling and screaming and swearing at each other and arguments over everything. And it was scary when I first used to go to his house. I was forever saying to him, what are they arguing about? And he'd be like, who? No one's arguing. They're just yelling at each other. But that played out in our marriage too. It sounds very similar to you guys, because, my husband has the ability just to erupt. And I'll be sitting there devastated, and 3 minutes later he's like, what's your problem? What's up? He's done his bit and he's all good, and I'm kind of a mess in the corner. So we've had to learn to navigate that one over the years, communicating differently. How about you? Have you experienced similar to that?
Well, actually, we have 8 points. We have 8 points that we're going to share with everybody, if that's
Fantastic.
okay.
Go for it. Okay,
8
let's
points.
do it.
I might come up. I might have 3, but somebody else 8 points. So
Well, we don't have to go through all 8, but I just thought,
you do now. You've dangled them in front of us.
Yeah,
so
now you
8
put 'em
points,
out there.
everyone. Yep.
Oh, part 2 coming up.
Yeah, the part 2 podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Once issues are identified, how do you deal with them?
Mm.
Well, we identified a lot of issues along the way.
Yeah.
Number 1 is attack the problem, not the person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And for instance,
did you find you were able to stick to that in the heat of the moment?
No, this is all growth, course
all
correction.
learned.
This is all, I mean, we're good now. We're arm in arm in this, but this is a learning process, and a lot of marriages just split because nobody wants to do the hard work.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided we were going to do the hard work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the big overlying thing is there's no 2 human beings that are 100% compatible.
Yeah.
I mean, we're putting individuals together in a long-term relationship. Well, to expect that you're going to be compatible on everything and be together on everything, well, that's just impossible. It doesn't work that way. You're still individuals. So somewhere along the line, there's going to be some differences, and you got to figure out, well, how do we work through these differences?
Yeah.
And how do we do it where we respect each other through these differences and working through?
Yeah.
And that was a biggie at the beginning, because Isabel's style, as you were talking about with you and your husband, Isabel's style was just to raise her voice as high as could go. And mine was to just draw back and go away and just kind of walk away from it, which then I'd find somebody hollering at the back of my head. And mine was, I wasn't dealing with it. I had to learn to actually come forward and deal with problems. And Isabel had to learn to come kind of down to a level where we could come together on problems.
Yeah.
So it's learning how, as a couple, you can deal with those problems and come together with them.
And that's point number 3.
Oh,
There you go. We're going to rip through them.
Point number 3 is keep your voice calm and low, and the other person will actually listen.
Yeah.
The other person will listen if you keep yourself calm and low, and so will the kids, and so will everybody else. But you see, I came from my father was a screamer. My mom was like you, calm, and she'd be scared in the corner too, but she was Cuban. It doesn't matter what nationality, it's how you decide how to be. And I decided along this journey that I was not going to be reactive anymore, because it scared my family, it scared other people, and I didn't want people to be afraid of me. I wanted people to know that I've got a big heart and that I love people. So I did a lot of work on myself to learn how to respond instead of react. And it has worked very well, hasn't it?
Amazing.
That's
Yes.
actually a
Yes.
really key point, isn't it? And I think with marriages that I've seen over the years fall apart, because obviously you get to this age and you see a lot of your friends end up splitting from their husbands and wives and all their partners and things. And I think the ones that I've seen split fairly quickly were the ones where there was no personal accountability. It was all about the evil ex-partner. And and they're the ones I saw fall apart fairly quickly. And they're also the ones I saw go into second marriages that fell apart because that same issue hadn't been dealt with, of them
Right.
also
Right.
realizing that, they're the contributor as well.
Yeah. And I hit that wall, Kat, when I realized I'm going to lose him. I'm pushing him off the end. Because, Michael's personality is, I'll take it, but then when I decide not to take it anymore, I'm out of here. And I'm like out of here. And I knew that in my soul, in my heart. And I was like, I got to do. And that kind of happened at about our 25th year
Being together.
of being together. 25 years.
Yeah.
So that was huge, is learning, okay, I got to work on myself. And that is the hardest work you will ever do.
Yeah.
Working on and Michael worked on himself, you know?
Yeah, I had to learn to have discussions. I came from a family that I never saw an actual, let's say, heated discussion. Everything was just kind of brushed under the carpet and nobody dealt with anything. So that was my way of, okay, well, I'll just brush it under. We're not going to deal with it. We'll forget about that. And so I had,
and I'd be like, no, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about this now. And he'd be like, oh, get away.
So, I mean, great point, Kat. I mean, that's probably point number seven.
No, it's actually point number 2. Identify your personal issues and work on them.
Yeah, I like that. Self-responsibility. It's not all about fixing the partner. Yeah. That's so important. And something, I think you hit something really key when you were just talking about yourselves then, that you were doing this work at the 25-year mark. So that in itself should be encouraging for anyone listening, because you can actually still work on your marriage and make a difference and change and grow even after 25 years. It's not too late to work on your marriage and create the marriage you want. And I think that's really encouraging. You weren't doing that at year 2. You were doing it still at year 25.
And even today, I mean, there's, I guess when you think that you got it made, life's going to tell you, or that you've got it right. Life's going to tell you, no, you don't. No, you don't. And there's, I know I make mistakes every day. I might say something stupid. I have really worked hard on the, the junk not coming out of my mouth, but sometimes you say something stupid and you just have to learn to realize, oh, okay, let me apologize for that.
Yeah.
Why did I say that? What happened there? And, and so you're constantly growing. And even after 42 years of being together, I know I haven't arrived. I've got things to work on. I won't say, I'm looking over here. Like
I just want to interject here, if I may. When Michael doesn't self-correct, I always say, I'm going to give you 30 minutes to be with yourself and God. And then let's circle back on that. And then he's like, oh, because sometimes people say, we're all human and we'll just say mean things accidentally. So,
yeah.
And then he's like, oh, what?
And
I go,
what?
Think about it.
That's good. I like that one. It's like the adult version of go sit in the naughty chair and come back when you're ready to behave yourself.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Okay, Isabel, what's number 5? We've kind of touched on the first 4. What's number 5?
Yeah, for those taking notes.
We'll just jump around. This will be connect the dots.
Yeah.
And so we're over here now.
Okay, number 5 is listen.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I had to learn to listen.
I struggle with that because it's like, but I want to interrupt and give my perspective. And that's a hard one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And listen to the person, let them talk. And then afterwards, one, don't roll your eyes. Don't go.
Yeah.
Because Michael used to be really bad about that. You were not anymore, hon. No, you're not like that anymore. You're not that person anymore, because we've worked. 42 years, holy moly. But you do listen. But he would, like, I'd go, hey, you hurt my heart. He used to not like that when I'd say, you hurt my heart, but you hurt my heart when you did this or you said that. And he'd go, and I'd go, stop. So listen to the person, paraphrase what they said, because people want to be listened. And listen, pay attention with an open heart. That's huge.
So understanding that, men and women are different, and what's important to her what's important to Isabel wasn't necessarily important to me. She might be talking about something where, I ended up doing the eye roll or something where I thought, oh, you're just being emotional. Gee, really, is it that big of a deal? Well,
you do that very well.
because that was that's the guy thing to do. Oh man, is it really that big of a deal? What do you,
how can we fix this? Look, here's your solution. Go away now. Because I just want to give you the fix and off you go.
And instead I had to learn, wait a second, the reason why she's saying that is because it is important to her. As a guy, I might be thinking, well, that's no big deal to me. Well, I'm also a different human being. What's important to each one of us individually is going to be different. So if the other person says something that to them was really important and we don't get it, well, that doesn't really matter. What we need to listen to is, okay, well, what was important to them? What can I take out of that? And just kind of step away and listen to what are they actually saying here? Dig, get a little deeper in it. Don't take it on a surface level, because what was really happening here that was important to them? What did I miss? And allow that to resonate with you and understand that.
And don't be multitasking when you're listening. Just stop. Like Michael's really good now because he stands.
What?
Michael's really good.
Did you say something?
Michael's really good. Michael's really good because I'll be like he is pretty good. Like nobody's 100% good all the time, but he'll just stop and look and cross his hands in front of himself and listen, and then I know he's listening. Now there are times when I'm talking and he's like not paying attention, and I'll just be quiet in the mid-sentence, and then he's like, okay, yeah, right. So I help course correct him, gently, not mean, like not anymore. Number 6 is, well, this is biblical, Ephesians 4:29. Be kind with your words.
Oh yes.
Don't let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, but only what is helpful for building up others. That's like not only for your husband, but for your children, for the world. Just be kind, because the tongue, as you know, can lift or it can tear down. And man, when it tears down, it has lasting effects. Yeah.
And look, I'm going to be really honest here. We women who tend to be very verbose, we're very good with our words. We can be cutting, absolutely cutting in the heat of the moment. So I think that's really worth emphasizing again, because it's not like the men are all bad and us poor women. It's like us taking responsibility that actually I have that capability of shredding him. I'm going to choose not to use it. I'm going to choose to be kind with my words and how I respond. It really does. Everything you're saying, though, it all comes back to choice, doesn't it? You choosing to stand by these values, you choosing to change yourself, change how you speak, how you react. Would you agree with that? It's all about your choices.
Oh, yeah. Because my goal is to be happy and peaceful and joyful with Michael. Like I don't want drama.
Yeah.
I don't want that kind of a life,
When if we're truly together and in this life together and we're making it happen together as a family, or whether we have kids or not, my goal isn't to hurt her. So many times I hear that stuff when couples are talking.
Okay, now we're going into number 8.
Oh, are we?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually,
what happened to 7?
Actually, we're talking.
This was a segue into number 7.
Actually, you know how people cut each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're segueing it into number 7. And,
There we go.
and that's that amazing word, respect.
That's
Yeah.
number 7. That's
Yes,
so good,
yes.
man.
Woohoo.
Respect.
See, the conversation's going there naturally. This is
Yeah.
great. Look at that.
And for me, I'm going to use the analogy of golf.
Yep.
And so many times I like to play golf, and you're out there, and I join up with people that I've never met before, and you're out there with 3 other gentlemen, and you're playing, and everybody gets into the conversation about what do you do, this and that. And so many times the conversation will flow into wives, partners, whatever it may be. And the words that come out about, the wives, partners, the old this or the that, or,
Yeah.
I don't even want to say all the different words in that. And it's like, why, what? I mean, is this the way you talk about your bestie, your best person in life, your partner in life, the person you love more than anything? It's like, how do you do that? Why would you do that? And I made a commitment way at the very beginning, no matter what was going on with us as individuals behind the scenes, we would never, ever in public air that dirty laundry out there. We would never disrespect each other in any kind of a party scene or anywhere. Just like, oh yeah, we'd get into it. No, that would never going to happen, because it's so disrespectful. I didn't ever want Isabel to feel that I was disrespecting her that way. If we got something going on, we're working it out at home. And, I know, and I know she feels the same way. It's just respect is so, so important. You just never should be disrespecting each other in public, social media, anywhere out there. You just,
or with your kids, you don't want to be
your children.
You don't want to be stabbing the other partner, the other spouse in front of your kids, going, "Oh, your father's just so worthless." And right? Would you agree? We hear women are, well said, Bev. Women are just as bad, hon.
Absolutely, they are
terrible. Oh, my husband's a good for nothing. My husband's worthless. I'm like, I could never say that about my husband.
What? Yeah.
I mean, my husband's doing the best he can. That's the bottom line, is just respect the other person.
Yeah, I think that's very, very powerful, because it's interesting. You watch as couples have been together a long time, and there's obviously frustration and hurt in there that they haven't resolved. So it comes out, doesn't it, in this bickering words and language, and oh yeah, she's just an uptight bitch or whatever. It does come out, and
it's ugly.
It is. It's awful. And it makes it even harder to bring that marriage back together, I think, when there's that amount of disrespect out there that's been said about them. Very, very difficult. Because how do you trust them? How do you trust that they're talking well of you? It's not just the trust that they're not running off with someone else, but it's that trust that they're guarding your relationship and honoring your relationship even when they're out and about.
Yeah, great point.
That's so true. And trust is another, that would be number 9, but oh well.
Is that 8B?
No,
or 7B? That was 7B.
7B was trust, folks. Okay, so what's number 8? What are we going to finish on?
Oh,
zip through 1 and 4, and then we'll land on 8, okay?
So 1 is attack the problem, not the person.
Yes.
Attack the problem, not the person. And one of the things, the example that I can give is overspending. We used to be wild with credit cards.
Yeah.
I would spend and he'd go, oh, well, then I'm going to overspend, and I have a fear of not having money. Like that fear of poverty is huge for me, because I know what poverty looks like and feels like. And so instead of attacking Michael with that idea, with that fear, I would just say, babe, I need you to understand that if we don't have any money, this is my fear. My fear is not that you're a bad person. My fear is living in poverty. So we really need to get our finances under control. And we have.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we have.
Yeah.
We've done that.
Instead of just reacting and going, look what you're doing. You're taking us down the drain hole. Fully get it.
Attack the problem, not the person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Number 4.
Number 4 is timing.
And that's actually a very important one
Yeah.
too. And that was one I can say was a little bit more of my superpower was timing. And Isabel needed to work on that one. And she's done an amazing job working on that. But it was in the heat of the moment. Sometimes you just need to step back. You can't just keep pressing into the fire, shall I say. You can't just keep stoking the fire. Sometimes you got to step back, or you got to look at timing. Maybe there was something that happened that, like Isabel said, hurt your heart, but there you might need to look at the timing of when you want to talk about it, because maybe there's a lot going on right now. There's a lot of stress, a lot of things happening, and let's just talk about it, you know, when there's a better timing, when we both kind of come down. So sometimes
when we're both not tired and hungry,
hungry, mad, stressed. Sometimes if there's a situation going on, you just need to look at the timing of when you're going to work through it, so that you're not just fueling the fire even more, because neither one of you can actually think properly. Because when you're kind of messed up in the brain, because everything is just firing, cortisol's running, adrenaline's running, it is not a good time to work through things. So sometimes, again, timing's a real key to look at when you're trying to work through things. And that also goes with your children too. You need to kind of, you have kids, look at the timing of when you are dealing with issues with them, because you can catch people at a very bad time, and then it just explodes even to a worse situation.
Just as an add-on to that, I think, I mentioned learning a little bit about personalities, particularly introversion, extroversion, many years ago was a real light bulb moment for me, particularly in understanding how my family react, and seeing close friends as well. I've got a couple of friends that are extroverts, and they don't understand the timing thing because they want to process everything, and because they do it verbally and externally, they're the ones who are like, but we've got to talk, we've got to talk. Whereas they often don't understand, particularly if their partner's an introvert, they need to go away and process internally, calm everything down, go through it all before they're ready to come back and communicate. So I think timing is actually more critical than what we realize on a whole lot of levels.
Oh, it's so key.
Very true.
It's so key. An example is we're just in the middle of a huge pivot in our business and Doctor on a Mission. And I knew that it was coming over the last 2 years, but I was like, no. And then finally I just hit the wall, and Mike was like, okay, now's the time to talk about this.
Yes.
So, but 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do it. So
yeah, that's great. All right, come on. Number 8, let's do it. The number 8 that's been hiding. Come on, reveal all.
Number 8 is neglect the rest of the world if you have to, but never neglect each other.
Wow, that is powerful. Mic drop. There we go. Interview done. Thank you very much.
Okay, bye.
All right. Unpack that a bit for us. Unpack that a little bit for us.
Okay, so the first thing we do in the morning is we hug each other. We stand up and we hug each other. And that's how we begin our day. And by the end of the night, if we haven't seen each other, we talk.
Yeah.
And it's just time. You have to spend time with each other. The world is busy. Life is busy. The business is busy. But we've got to we eat a meal together. If not 2 or 3 meals, we eat 1 meal together and we talk.
Yeah.
Talking is key.
Have you found, because you're both entrepreneurial with the type of work that you do, and this is something we've slipped into a little bit too, and I think a lot of people whose partners are now at home and working, that if you're not careful, those work hours blur into that time that you would normally be spending time with your partner. Have you had to consciously put boundaries about when you turn off the laptop and focus on partner, or is that not something you've talked about? Or
well, well, there's a weekly time that we have 36 hours off, shall I say. I call it going off the grid.
Wow.
But weekly there's 36 hours where for us it's like Saturday 5 p.m. till Monday morning. We have church on Sunday morning. But that 36 hours is our time where we shut off. Yes, if there's an emergency, of course we respond. But other than that, it's just our time. Do what we want to do. If we want to talk to the kids, whatever it may be. But that's just off. It's not, on the phones and social media and
Mm-hmm.
emails and things. You just, it does a lot for us. Number one, it gives
Yeah.
our brain a chance to relax. And we also, and refresh, we also get more creative, and it actually gives us a chance to be better at everything we do come starting Monday morning,
Yeah.
if that's the start of your week. But also it gives us a chance to reconnect and talk about things that'll come up during the week. Because again, as you say, it's mostly dual income earners out there, and we're all over the show. Or
Yeah.
even if one's at home, they're with the kids, and that's busyness. And I know, as a stay-at-home dad, I know how crazy busy that is, being home with the kids. That if the week has gone on, yes, we set daily parameters as far as being together at times, but they tend to be smaller chunks.
Yeah.
But we need that big chunk at the end of the week where we say, this is our time. And if we need to take a walk on the beach, or just to walk down the street, or go get a coffee, or have lunch together after church, it's the opportunity to talk of, now that's that timing thing where now we can talk about some things that during the week. Remember what happened on Tuesday night when it was just like,
Yeah.
we really haven't talked that out. Well, now's a great time. We're more relaxed. The brain's relaxed, and let's talk about, well, what happened there? I mean, why did you feel that? Why did you feel I hurt your heart? Or why, was that so rough that time? We're okay, but yet now we can really get into it a little bit more. So you need to have that kind of big chunk time, even if it's 12 hours, 24, 30, whatever you want it to be, but where it's your time off the grid. And now we can work
no
through.
social media, no
Wow.
emails, just 36
I would
hours.
struggle with all of that, but I think that's just a brilliant point. And again, I love the fact that here you guys are 42 years into it, but you're still putting things in place to preserve your relationship. And I think if nothing else, that's a light bulb moment, hopefully for a lot of people, that it's like when you plant a garden, you throw the seeds in, but then you don't just walk away, do you? You still have to tend them and pull out the weeds and water them and harvest them and so on. And that's kind of what you're still doing with your marriage, isn't it? It's not like, yeah. It's like that old joke. My husband used to say it now and then. Well, I told you I loved you when we got married. If anything changes, I'll let you know. Yeah. That's not enough, is it?
No.
It's not
We
enough.
do say we love each other at least once or twice a day.
Or
Lovely.
more than that,
more,
I would say.
Yeah.
Right off the bat in the morning.
Yeah.
But it's marriage and relationships is like a muscle.
Mhm.
If you don't use it, it's just going to atrophy. It's just going to wither away. So as you pointed out with us, I mean, it's a constant thing where we're always looking to keep it strong. How do we make it better?
Yeah.
How do we,
how do we make it better?
How do we make it better? And we got to keep working at it. If we don't work at it, it's just going to wither away. And next thing you know, it's going to be,
And sex. We got to have sex.
Oh, you didn't bring that point up.
I didn't, but we,
There's number 10.
Yeah, right. Making love is very important. You've got to, well, Kat, I mean, it's harder the older we get. It's like, but you got to go, hey, let's do it.
And that is an amazingly important point too.
Yeah.
Is I just, for your listeners and everybody out there, yes. So what if you've been together that long? You need to stay sexy for each other. Whether that's PC or not. I'm saying you got to stay sexy for each other. You got to, whatever that is for you. I'm not saying it's any body type or anything, but it's that's kind of always, almost every relationship. That's what ignited it at the beginning.
Yeah.
Well, let's not let that fade away. I mean, this is my hottie bride. I mean,
we still do
I say that on social media, this is, it's Dr. Isabel, but this is my hottie bride.
Yeah.
Well, bride of 42 years.
That's such a strong part of intimacy though, isn't it? So, yeah.
I'm gonna write that down, girl. Number nine is intimacy.
Intimacy.
All right, everybody listening in, there is a new relationship book coming out in 6 months' time. You just heard the chapters listed. So leave your name and address and you'll be able to be the first when that book goes live.
Oh, Kat.
Joking, but not joking. I think you've got a nice book there with those points.
I think writing a book is the most painful thing I've ever done in my life.
Said by an extrovert, whereas I'm an introvert. I'm like, I love it. Let me just sit in my head for the next few hours. Thank you very much, world. And that's what makes us all different, which is wonderful.
Yes.
Well, look, I really want to thank you guys. It's just been so much fun. But in the middle of all that fun, you've really given some gold, some wonderful tips and hints and practical ideas that people can be, using right now to revive, their 30, 40-year marriage. And for anyone in younger marriages or new relationships, well, great. You've given great things that they can build as foundations for their new relationships. So I am so grateful to that. And I really thank you for both being so vulnerable and open about so much of your life.
Thank you, Kat.
Thank you very much. And thank you, listeners, for your time, because we know that your time is very valuable.
Yeah.
And we're looking for another 40 years plus of being together and having an amazing life. And
amen. I'll have you back for the 80th anniversary, all right?
Beautiful. And we'll talk about point number 9 first.
And on that note, I just want to thank everybody, whether you're listening in or if you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure to subscribe to this channel. Please leave a positive review, particularly if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or again on YouTube. It really means a lot and helps this podcast get out so that more midlifers can be encouraged that midlife is a season that they can truly rock. So please subscribe, get notifications, get on Michael and Isabel's list. They've got a wonderful group too, so I'm going to be putting all of their links below. They're amazing people. They've got a lot of free resources. Get in their world, get hold of them now, and I will see you on our next episode.